Imagine a world where you could be tortured just for reading a book. In 16th and 17th century Japan, Christianity was seen as a foreign idea that threatened the state. First, Christian missionaries and Japanese Christians were targeted. Then, Christianity was completely banned. Not only the religion itself, but also foreign books that mentioned Christianity were included in the ban. Because of this, some texts were secretly copied and hidden, and secret Christians began to practice their faith underground. In the 18th century, the Tokugawa government gradually began to allow scientific and technical books that did not contain Christianity. But religious content was still forbidden. Reading the wrong book made you a potential rebel in the eyes of the state. But what if the thing that's banned is an outfit that has become the biggest symbol of your culture? Imagine, wearing the traditional clothing of your birthplace is considered a crime. After the Jacobite uprisings in 1745, the British authorities especially wanted to break up the Scottish Highland clans. One of their solutions was this: to ban something that seems completely innocent today: the kilt and Highland dress. With the Dress Act of 1746, men and boys in the north of Scotland were banned from wearing Highland clothes like the kilt. For a first offence, you could get 6 months in prison. For a second, you could be exiled for 7 years. The aim wasn't just to ban a skirt. It was to slowly erase an entire identity associated with rebellion. By the time the law was repealed in 1782, the kilt was no longer everyday wear, but had become a symbolic national costume. In some places, it wasn't just about what clothes you wore, but even how luxurious you looked could get you in trouble with the law. In the Middle Ages, if you wore clothes that made you look wealthy, the authorities could show up at your door. In many countries of medieval and Renaissance Europe, there were clothing laws called sumptuary laws. These laws specified exactly who could wear which fabric, which color, and which decorations. Silk, purple fabric, gold embroidery, expensive furs. These were often reserved only for the nobility. If someone from the middle class appeared in such clothing, they could be punished, or the clothing could be confiscated. The official justification was to control morality and prevent extravagance. The unofficial reason, however, was to visibly maintain class distinctions and prevent common people from appearing wealthy. They banned what you wore, but what about having fun? In some places, even dancing was a crime. You live in a town and dancing is officially forbidden. It's just like in the movies, isn't it? In America, especially in religious and conservative small towns in the 19th and 20th centuries, there were local laws that restricted or completely banned dancing. In some places, dancing was seen as promoting immorality and sin. In the town of Elmore City, Oklahoma, public dancing was banned starting in 1898. In 1980, when high school students wanted to have a prom, the town was split in two. Those who said dancing is a sin, and those who said we just want to have fun. The story of this debate later inspired the famous movie Footloose. So, in some towns, you really could be considered guilty just for dancing. Now, next up is a creature that was targeted for centuries as the devil's animal: the cat. Today, the cute members of our homes were once considered servants of the devil. In medieval Europe, cats, especially black cats, became increasingly associated with witchcraft and satanic rituals. In the 13th century, the document Vox in Rama, issued by Pope Gregory IX, described scenes in which a black cat was depicted as a demonic figure in heretical rituals. In the following centuries, as witch hunts intensified, cats also became part of this hysteria. Women were targeted along with their cats, accused of being witches. There are historical records of cats being tortured, burned, and killed. A common claim on the internet is that the plague spread because of cats. Although the story is largely exaggerated, here is the truth. At one time, being a cat in Europe was truly dangerous. But what if just watching birds with binoculars could make you a spy? During World War II, if you were on the beach with binoculars in your hand, you could be considered a spy, not a bird lover. During World War II, walking around with binoculars or taking photos near coastal areas and military zones, both in Germany and other countries, aroused serious suspicion. Because of the fear of espionage, even an ordinary birdwatcher could be questioned by military authorities. Especially in coastal areas, carrying large, high-powered binoculars or staring at the same spot for a long time effectively became prohibited. If you got caught saying I was just watching birds, didn't really help much. So, during wartime, even an innocent hobby could be mistaken for covert intelligence activity. But the most interesting bans in history don't end there.